Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're taking a closer look at vitamins.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you sent in some articles about them, and, well, they're fascinating little things. So, are you ready to explore the world of vitamins with me?
Absolutely. I'm excited to learn more.
Perfect. Well, let's start with the basics. Why are vitamins so important? I mean, we hear about them all the time, but what do they actually do?
Well, they're kind of like the unsung heroes of our bodies.
Unsung heroes, I like that.
Yeah. They don't give us energy directly like carbs or fats do, but they're essential for making sure all those processes run smoothly. It's like well, imagine your body as a car.
Okay, I'm following.
Vitamins are like the spark plugs or maybe the oil. They're not the fuel, but without them, the engine just wouldn't work.
Right, they keep everything running. And that's why they're called essential, right? Because our bodies can't make enough of them on their own.
Exactly. We need to get them from our diet.
And speaking of diet, I noticed that you sent in some information about fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins. What's the difference between those two?
That's a great question. It all comes down to how our bodies absorb and use them. So fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, they need fat to be absorbed.
So, like, if we eat a salad with some healthy fats, like avocado or olive oil, it helps us absorb those vitamins better.
Exactly. And then our bodies can store them in our liver and fatty tissues. But on the other hand, water-soluble vitamins like C and the B vitamins,
Right?
those dissolve in water and travel through our bloodstream.
So it's like they get a quick ride through our system,
Yeah, and any extra usually gets flushed out in our urine.
which is probably why we need to make sure we're getting them regularly.
Yes, exactly. That's why eating a variety of foods is so important because different foods contain different vitamins.
And that makes me think of something I saw in the research you sent, shortfall vitamins. What are those exactly?
So shortfall vitamins are basically vitamins that a lot of people, even in developed countries, don't get enough of through their diets.
Oh, interesting. So even if we're eating relatively healthy, we might still be missing out on some key vitamins.
That's right. Some of the most common shortfall vitamins are A, D, E, C, and choline.
So we need to be really mindful about getting enough of those.
Absolutely. And that's where understanding the role of each vitamin becomes really important.
Okay, well, I think that's a great place to pause for now.
You know, it's not always about being severely deficient. Sometimes it's just that we're not consistently hitting those recommended daily intakes.
Oh, so like we might be getting some, but not enough on a regular basis.
Right. And even those, slight shortfalls over time can actually impact our health in some pretty subtle ways.
Interesting. So it's kind of like a slow leak in our nutritional foundation.
Exactly. It's like, if you don't change the oil in your car regularly, it might run fine for a while, but eventually you're going to have problems.
That's a great analogy. So what's contributing to these shortfalls? Is it just that we're not eating enough fruits and veggies?
Well, it's multifactorial, really, but modern diets often prioritize convenience over nutrient density, right?
That's true.
And then there are other factors too, like soil depletion and food processing. Those can impact the vitamin content of our food as well.
Right. So it's not always as simple as just, eating our greens.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if supplements might be a helpful solution for bridging those gaps, especially if we're not getting enough from our diet alone.
Yeah, supplements definitely have a place. You mentioned earlier that you were curious about when they might be beneficial.
I was.
Well, they can be particularly helpful for certain groups of people, like vegans, for example.
Right, because they might not be getting enough B12 from their diet.
Exactly. B12 is primarily found in animal products, so if you're not eating those, you might need a supplement.
And what about other groups? Are there others who might benefit from supplements?
Sure, there are. Older adults often have reduced nutrient absorption, so they might need a little boost, especially for vitamins D and B12.
Makes sense.
And then, of course, there are individuals with certain medical conditions or those following restrictive diets. They might also benefit from personalized supplementation.
It sounds like supplements can be valuable tools when used strategically. But I also know there are a lot of misconceptions out there. What are some of the common myths we should be wary of?
One big one is the idea that more is always better when it comes to vitamins. People often assume that if a little is good, a lot must be amazing. But with vitamins, especially those fat-soluble ones we talked about earlier, excessive intake can actually be harmful.
So mega dosing is not the answer.
Definitely not. And that's why it's so important to approach supplements with a mindful, informed perspective. They should be seen as complements to a healthy diet, not replacements for it.
That's a really important point. And it reminds me of that interesting fact about beta-carotene. Like eating too many carrots can temporarily turn your skin orange.
Right. It's a harmless example,
Yeah.
but it shows that even healthy substances can have unexpected effects in excess.
Absolutely. Balance is key.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm seeing a lot of buzz these days about antioxidants and their potential health benefits. I know one of the articles you send in even mentioned those free radicals that antioxidants help fight off. Can you explain what those are?
Yeah, I was wondering about this too. What are free radicals exactly?
Well, you can think of free radicals as unstable molecules that can damage our cells.
Oh, okay.
They're a natural byproduct of metabolism, but things like pollution and smoking can increase their production. And antioxidants, on the other hand, are like, well, I guess you could say they're like little superheroes.
Like superheroes.
Yeah. They neutralize those harmful molecules, protecting our cells from damage.
So a balanced diet rich in antioxidants can help keep those cellular, rust spots at bay.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. So what are some good sources of these antioxidant powerhouses? Colorful fruits and vegetables are your best bet. Think berries, leafy greens, tomatoes, and even dark chocolate.
Okay, now I'm really paying attention. Dark chocolate, and it's good for you. That's a win-win in my book.
Right. It's a delicious way to support your health.
Absolutely. And, speaking of those beneficial compounds, you mentioned phytonutrients earlier. What exactly are those, and how do they differ from vitamins?
Okay, so phytonutrients are these fascinating compounds found in plants, and they give them their vibrant colors, aromas, and flavors.
I see.
And they also play a role in protecting plants from, pests and diseases. Now, while they're not considered essential nutrients like vitamins, research suggests they can have a powerful impact on our health.
So they're like plant superpowers that we can benefit from, too.
Exactly.
That's incredible. What are some examples of phytonutrients and their potential health effects?
Well, there are thousands of different phytonutrients out there, and we're still discovering their full potential. But some well-known examples are lycopene in tomatoes, which has been linked to prostate health.
Okay. And catechins in green tea, which has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And curcumin in turmeric, known for its anti-inflammatory and immune-boosting effects.
It's amazing how much we're still learning about the intricate world of nutrients and how they interact with our bodies. I'm feeling inspired to explore more plant-based recipes and really embrace that eat the rainbow philosophy.
It's a delicious way to support your health. And, it's not just about individual nutrients, but also the synergy between them. A balanced, diverse diet provides a symphony of compounds that work together to keep us functioning at our best.
Going through all of this information about vitamins, it's clear that a balanced diet is the foundation of it all. But are there any tips for navigating that, overwhelming world of vitamin aisles, like for those times when supplements might be needed?
Oh, yeah. It can definitely feel like a jungle out there. But one thing to remember is that a multivitamin that provides no more than 100% of the daily value is often a good starting point.
Okay, a multivitamin. Yeah. It's like a balanced team of vitamins, ensuring you're covering your bases without going overboard,
That makes sense. And something you mentioned earlier that really stuck with me is that supplement means to add to, not to replace.
Right.
It's a good reminder that a pill can never truly replicate, like, the complexity of whole foods.
You got it. And if you're focusing on a healthy diet, you might not even need a multivitamin.
That's true.
But certain situations might warrant specific supplements. Like we talked about vegans needing to be mindful of B12. So if you're following a plant-based diet, a B12 supplement might be a good idea.
Right. It's like a personalized vitamin strategy based on your individual needs and lifestyle. But what about those claims that supplements can, prevent chronic diseases? Is that something we should be looking for in a supplement?
That's where things get a little tricky.
Okay.
While some studies show, promising links, it's not always a clear-cut cause and effect relationship.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, take antioxidants, for example. They were once touted as like a magic bullet for preventing cancer. But, large-scale studies haven't consistently shown that taking antioxidant supplements actually reduces the risk.
So it's not a guaranteed shield against disease.
Unfortunately not. And keep in mind, supplements can sometimes interact with medications.
Right.
So it's always best to, to talk to your doctor before adding anything new to your routine.
That's a good point.
Especially if you have any underlying health conditions. They can help you determine if a supplement is right for you and guide you toward safe and effective choices.
That's a good reminder that our bodies are complex.
Yeah.
And what works for one person might not work for another. Any tips for deciphering those labels and certifications on supplement bottles?
Oh, yeah. Those can be confusing.
They can.
First and foremost, look for the supplement facts label. It breaks down the nutrient content, showing you exactly what's in each serving. Check the expiration date as well. You want to ensure freshness. And if you see the USP mark, that means the supplement has been independently verified for quality, purity, and potency.
So it's like a stamp of approval from a trusted source.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of vitamins.
It really has. We've covered so much. From fat-soluble to water-soluble, from antioxidants to phytonutrients, we've really uncovered the power these tiny compounds hold in shaping our health.
And the key takeaway.
A balanced, colorful diet brimming with vitamin-rich foods, that's your foundation for a healthier, more vibrant you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So keep exploring those farmers markets, experiment with new recipes, and most importantly, listen to your body. It's the ultimate guide to optimal health.
Absolutely. This deep dive was just the beginning. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep nourishing yourself with knowledge and delicious vitamin-rich foods.
Thanks for joining us on this vitamin journey.